If you're feeling very bloated, you've overeaten, give yourself a couple of hours, but then get the digestive fire moving so that you can digest your food so much more efficiently. In this practice, we'll use a blanket rolled up, or if you've got a bolster, grab it. If you'd like to use blocks, then grab them as well. We'll begin seated. I'm sitting on a couple of blocks, stretching the fronts of the thighs. And as you sit tall by sitting more forward on your sits bones. Interlace your fingers, reach your interlaced fingers up and draw over to the right side. Come back to center, draw over to the left side, back to center. And now draw to the right side again. This time, release your right hand down. You can either place your right hand at your thigh or maybe reach down to the mat as you stretch over. Inhale, rise up, interlace your fingers again. Reach up, draw over to the side. Let your left hand float down. Reach over even more to get the side body long. And now release, come to interlace fingers one more time. Reach your interlace fingers forward as you make the letter C shape with the spine. And inhale, come to a nice tall seated position. On this tight roll, take your pelvis just on the blanket roll. So that area just above the pubic bone and below the navel, you'll be pressing that area down. And as you come to your forearms, you can place your head to a block if you wish, or some of you may want to just take your head to your stacked hands. But just release your head down. And now do a strong breath in through the nose so that you're expanding the low belly area into that blanket roll. Breathe in deep and breathe out long. So as you expand into this tight blanket roll, it may not be all that comfortable. So you can back off in finding the fullness to your breath. Or you can lift your head up, and that might ease that pressure that you feel in the low belly area. Breathe in deep and long. Now let's give the belly area a little break and lie on your back. When you lie on your back, place your hands to that low belly area that the blanket roll was just massaging nicely. Breathe in deep and see if you can feel the expansion of the low belly area. Breathe out long. Have a little pressure on that low belly area with your hands. And it's a way to even strengthen the breath with the resistance of the hands. You find that maybe you're taking a little bit more fullness, a little bit more care in finding fullness to the breath. Now slowly release your legs down so the legs are straight. Want your feet over to the right so you're asymmetric on the mat. Take your left leg on top of the right. Take your arms over your head. With your right hand, grab your left wrist. Reach your hands over to the right. See if you can inch your feet a little bit further to the right and inch your hands a little bit further to the right. With the left elbow bent, you're pulling with your right hand to get a little bit more fullness to the left side. Now slowly release back to the center position. Walk your feet over to the left side. Place your right leg on top of the left, crossing at the ankles. Take your arms over your head. Walk your hands over to the left side. Grab hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Move your hands a little bit further to the left. Move your feet a little bit further to the left. Breathe in deep. And breathe out long. Have a nice ease to the flow of the breath. A nice softness to your facial muscles. Breathe in deep and out long. Breathe in deep and out long. Take your hands and your feet back to an aligned form. Bend your knees. With your feet firmly planted, draw your knee in toward your ribs. You can keep your left foot on the mat, or if it's available to you, reach it out to stretch the left leg straight. Keep on hugging the right knee in. Release your right foot to the mat. Bend your left knee. Plant your left foot. Draw your left knee in. Hug in for a lot of hip flexion. Extend your right leg straight out. Have a nice engagement of the right leg. If you feel like the right thigh is popping away from the mat, see what you can do to bring the top of the thigh down more. Or just bend the right knee and plant your right foot. Now slowly release your left foot to the mat, bend your right knee. Roll over to your right side and come to all fours position. In all fours position, grab your rolled blanket again. Place the rolled blanket in that same position you were, right above the pubic bone and below the belly. And now just move your pelvis to the right and to the left. Very slowly, just giving yourself a nice massage. Stimulating the digestive organs nicely. Now come back to the center of that movement. Place your hands so that you can do just a little baby cobra. Lift yourself up. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, lift up. If it's too much pressure on your low belly, then you need to take the blanket roll just a little bit smaller so that you can just feel the breath just expand into the low belly area. We'll pulse 3 more times to really expand and lift the front body and soften on the exhale. The in-breath as you pulse up, the exhale breath as you draw it down, the in-breath as you lift up, the exhale breath as you soften down. Now with your forearms down to support you, bring your left knee so that the left knee and pelvis are essentially lined up. And from here, with the left foot in this frog-like position, just move a little bit more to massage the right side. Come back to the center position. See if you can lift your right foot up for a little thigh stretch on the right leg. Maybe even take your right hand back to find your right foot to encourage just a little bit more opening in the chest and lengthening on the right thigh. Release now out of the pose. Straighten your left leg. Bend your right knee so that the right knee is roughly at the same height as the pelvis. Just again, little massaging, little action here to create just a little bit more energy on the left side. You can use your right hand as a kickstand to bring more awareness to the left side. And maybe bend your left knee. With the left knee bent, see if you can find your foot with your right hand and give yourself a little thigh stretch on this side. Just opening the side body, reaching back to find the foot. It's a nice opening of the shoulder as well. Now slowly release your foot and release your forearms. Place the hands right alongside your ribs there and inhale once again. Lift up, exhale, soften. Nice ease in the movement as you rise up. Exhale, soften. One more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften. Come to all fours position. Take your blanket or your bolster, whatever you're using, out of the way. Place your hands nice and wide apart. Spread your fingers. Have your knees hip distance apart. Just draw your pelvis back and release your head down. So we're not taking the pelvis all the way to the heels. We're just getting a lot of fullness in the back body now. There's a little pressure on the low belly, so we're just giving it freedom now. Now see if you can take your hands back toward your knees. Come toward child's pose. The knees can be wide apart or closer together, whichever feels right for you. Closer together just gives you just a little bit more contraction to the movement of the digestive area, which may feel like a little massaging action, combining it with the fullness of your breath. Walk your hands now over to the right side. With the hands to the right side, stack your left hand on top of your right palm, with the palm pressing down. See if you can just encourage your left hand to reach just a little bit further to the right side. Come back to the center position, hands nice and wide apart. Walk your hands over to the left side Stack your right hand on top of the left and pull the right sit bones back toward the right heel. Breathe in deep and out long. On the next inhale breath, come back to the center position. From all fours position, lower yourself down to the mat again. Use your right forearm to support you. Draw to the right side. Bend your left knee. Hold on to the left foot. Draw over back to your belly again. On your belly, as you now reach your right hand forward, let's get a little lift. So now both the front side of the left thigh and a nice lengthening from the pubic bone to your heart in this little modified back bend. You can release down. Prop yourself up with your left hand. As you roll to your left side, take hold of your right shin. Softly draw over to your belly again. And reach your left hand forward as you lift yourself up. Slowly come out of the pose to make your way to a seated position. In the seated position, you might want to use your blanket for a little support. If you feel like when you're seated, sometimes you round your upper back, just having a little elevation to sit on is very helpful. To sit on your blanket, if you're using it, take your feet nice and wide apart. With your feet nice and wide apart, engage your legs by spreading your toes more fully. Reach your left hand toward your left foot. Reach your right arm up. Reach it over. Maybe with the left hand, you can come closer to your foot. Maybe you can hold on to the foot as you get this nice stretch to the side body. Inhale, rise up. Let's come to the opposite side. Take the back of your right hand, just let it slide on the shin bone toward the foot. Take your left hand up. If you feel like this left sit bone is becoming ungrounded, see if you can root it back before reaching your left arm over, reaching your toes. And inhale, come up. Let's do that one more time. Reach your left hand toward your left foot. Take your right arm up. Keep your right sit bone seated firmly as you take your hand over. The second time, you can just get a little bit more fullness to that stretch. Inhale, rise up. Right hand slides toward the foot. Reach your left arm up and over. Inhale, rise up. Now that you've lengthened the side body so fully, see if you can take your hands forward. Now for some of us, this just causes so much pulling in the inner thighs. If that's the case with you, you may want to bend your knees slightly to come forward in your forward fold. But keep the spine elongated. See if you can just kind of soften. And slowly lift yourself to come out of the pose. From this seated position, bend your knees. With your knees bent, hold on to the backs of the legs And inhale, pull the legs in towards you to open the chest nicely. Exhale, just round the spine slightly. Inhale, come forward on your sits bones, lift up. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Now use your hands to support you to come to lie down on your back. In the same way that we started, bring your right knee in, reach your left leg out, release your right foot and your left foot back to the mat to trade sides. Draw the left knee in, reach the right leg out, and bend your right knee, plant your right foot, take your left foot on the mat, with your elbows pressing down, with the palms facing each other and hands reaching up to the sky. Lift your pelvis for a nice fullness. Through that, stretch to the front side, the sides of the body, and the spinal muscles. We're able to get this nice fullness in the bridge pose. You feel so much more spaciousness. There's a little fire in the digestive area. You can release down. Straighten your legs. Give your belly a nice loving rub again. And slowly release your hands to come to a resting pose, Shavasana. Close your eyes. This inner fire that helps us digest our food, helps us to bring just a little bit more engagement. Helps us to fuel the fire, this inner fire, by doing some simple movements. It allows us to free ourselves from that very sluggish feeling we have after eating. Through the breath, now enjoy a feeling of inner spaciousness. Let the breath continue to massage your organs, to keep that inner fire alive. Enjoy this time of assimilating these actions and of digesting. Namaste.